All right, let's return to a conversation we're having just a few minutes ago. Cape Court has pulled the brakes on the 4.6 billion rand River Club development, at least for now. Judge Patricia Goliath saying that there wasn't meaningful engagement with affected parties by the developers. One of those parties, represented by Torik Jenkins, a researcher and activist who represents one of the groups related to the original custodians of the land around what is now known as the Liesbeek and Black Rivers. Torik, thanks again for reconnecting. I believe we have those technical gremlins sorted out. And when we stopped the conversation, I asked why there seems to be disagreement between First Nations groups. You represent one group that is against the development, but there are groups that are pro the development. Where's the disconnect?
That is correct. In terms of the filing of our court papers, we represent about 22 San and Khoi groups whose footprints stretch across Southern Africa. There is differences of opinion in terms of how some groups are exercising agency. The group that is in favor of this development has in fact written themselves into the development itself by entering a privately brokered arrangement with the developer without consent with the broader Khoi and San group. So that particular group then would probably stand to benefit for themselves. But we certainly have very clear differences of opinion on the fact that we do not consider the devastation of a floodplain the ruination of a sacred river, and that this kind of completely inappropriate development can be done in the name of the San and Khoi. It goes against the symbiotic relationship that the San and Khoi communities have with the riverine systems, the environment, and the cosmos. And we assert that this is an epicenter of liberation and resistance. SARA is currently grading the site, and it was in fact approved by President Cyril Ramaphosa and his cabinet as part of the National Khoi and San Liberation and Resistance Route, which is also part of a slate to UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. So we believe that these intangible and tangible heritage resources speak to this site as the epicenter of the liberation and resistance, and also it is a ground zero precinct where the first frontier wars were fought in 1659, where land was ostensibly stolen for the first time in our country. And we believe that this should be the site that should earmark a Truth and Reconciliation Commission for the San and Khoi, and that restorative justice would flow from the restoration of this site.
How much of the sacred land that you speak of is going to be taken up by the development? From what the other First Nations group that's pro the development says, there have been things written into the development that would promote Khoi and San heritage.
Look, the major issue is that the developer wants to put 150,000 square meters of concrete bulk on the floodplain, which would permanently desecrate both the intangible and tangible heritage resources of the space. Plus, it is also ruining the old Liesbeek River channel. Our argument is clear, is that you cannot have a cultural center that's allegedly going to celebrate the very aspects that, in fact, it has destroyed. That would not be a celebration of the cultural vestige of the Khoi and San. In fact, it will be a Golgotha to a particular kind of final solution of the complete concretizations and suffocation of a very important existing tangible and intangible heritage resources on the site.
You did mention that this space is currently being graded with the view to have it a national heritage site. Why hadn't it been declared a national heritage site before? Why is this only happening now?
For a very long time, there have been a number of heritage entities that have earmarked this place as of extraordinary heritage significance. And so I think what's really important is that this process be allowed to happen. This development poses massive threat and destruction to both the living embodied as well as the intangible heritage resources on the site. And one of our major concerns is that those who are supporting the development, including the City of Cape Town, Western Cape government, the developer, and even the group that is now, Khoi group that is now supporting this development, are creating a Bermuda Triangle on the site where they are literally trying to diminutize or remove some of the most important historical facets of this site that speak to the collective memory of all South Africans and Africans in general.
All right, Tariq, we're going to have to cut the conversation short there. Thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it. It was Tariq Jenkins, the property developer. In a statement to ENCA, said that they're deeply disappointed by the outcome of the interdict application.